Summer Sports Talk, worldwide, with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now heavyweights, we got a little news, right? One of my favorite heavyweights, it's top 10 heavyweights that I liked, right? I'm not gonna say it's the top 10 heavyweight of all time, but a good heavyweight came from cruiserweight, and that'll be David Haye, right? David Haye is cruiserweight, damn near undisputed. I think he had 3 of the belts and went up to heavyweight and handled his business, became a champion there. I think most people will remember him from being the guy who made Nikolai Valilev, that big guy, you were that 7-foot guy, 300-pound guy, do the stanky leg, right? With that famous haymaker, that he missed. But like I always tell you guys when it comes to David Haye, y'all think it's just a haymaker? No. On the way out, he comes and hits with that left hook on the way out. That's what he was doing. And he hit Nikolai Valilev with that one, and he had the stanky leg for a minute. Did a Amir Khan imitation, right? So the point is, David Haye is a good fighter. He's a fighter that I used to like to watch, exciting fighter, a fighter who brought KO power, excitement, precision punches. He never wasted his punches, right? Trying to knock your butt out, right? And that's how he was going to do. I was going for him big time when he went up to heavyweight trying to deal with big old Vladimir Klitschko. He didn't win that fight, but he gave it all he had, right? Wasn't the biggest guy in the world, but bad. David Haye's a bad dude. Now, I think his body broke down on him. And I think because once you start getting up there and you start hitting on these bigger guys with the punching power that he had, what he was trying to do with people, this ain't one of them jab, jab, and hit you a little bit with the right jab, and just hit. No. Precision punching, but power punching. And I think them elbows and shoulders, when you start hitting on Valilevs and people big like that, you're a natural cruiserweight. I think his body just broke down. And unfortunately, he was, Tony Bellew had to show him the retirement door, right? Because Tony Bellew, I thought he was going to beat Bellew, right? But no, he wasn't beating Bellew, and then it was time to retire. Now, that first fight against Bellew, I thought he was, he did well because he tried with one leg. But the second fight, it was no more excuses. I think, he had to get up out of there. The injuries, he's never going to be the same fighter. But David Haye is a good damn heavyweight, right? A good, exciting heavyweight to watch. If he ain't exciting, then I don't know what's exciting then. A smaller dude trying to knock people out. And oh, by the way, I don't think David Haye had that much good punch resistance, but I think his is different because his head movement and upper body movement was exemplary, right? He didn't get hit flush that often. That means his head didn't have to really, figure out, recover that much because he wasn't hit flush that often because the way he was moved that upper body all the time. So he wasn't getting hit that often, but when he did, something happened. So he didn't have the best punch resistance, but he had a very good defense, and the defense was his upper body movement. Canelo got some good upper body movement too. I like to watch Canelo when he does that, even though I don't like Canelo, but I like his upper body movement. But anyway, let's get to the point what David Haye said recently, right? David Haye, he gonna say whatever he gonna say some stuff, but most of the time it's right. Right? When he doesn't really, say, well, I'm English, I gotta say this, or well, I'm this and I gotta say this. He's just gonna say some stuff, what it is. And he just says this, and I kind of agree with him. He's like, if Anthony Joshua loses to Alexander Usyk again, he's going to probably retire. I think we can all agree on that. I was just thinking, why did I even do this video? That's so, yeah. I think we could, about 70% of us are going to say Anthony Joshua probably will retire if he loses to Alexander Usyk. Now, I was reading the article at the beginning, and I just said, I'm going to put that down. I don't need to. I'm going to do the video about that because I don't really need to know what he said, why. Because I think the reasons are obvious. Anthony Joshua loses to Usyk again, his stock diminishes. Ain't nobody gonna think he can beat nobody because he was lost in so many different ways. He's been hurt in so many different fights. We all know he's chinny. You lost to Ruiz by knockout, and you lost to Usyk with points. Two people that are definitely shorter than you. One is even lighter than you. And if you lose again, then you're not going to be playing in the big leagues at first. And then you're going to probably fight one of these guys that's a little bit above marginal and then have some issues with them too. So that would be best to retire, at least for a while. Even if it's a year and then you come back and then people won't judge you so hard. But if you go straight into another fight after Usyk, it's gonna be hard to do. So I think Anthony Joshua would retire for that reason, because if he's not playing in the the big leagues, I don't know if he's going to want to be fighting because that's what he's been used to now. You know, every fight that Anthony Joshua has, especially if it's on English soil, it's been a huge fight, a huge event, and everybody, you know, some people call him, remember, pound for pound. Some people call him the best heavyweight without him fighting. You know, he's getting the Canelo treatment. Canelo, everybody would tell you that Canelo's better than Demetrius Andrade. Would ever not have to fight him, running from him, and never have to fight him, but he's the best. And people keep calling Canelo some kind of pound for pound. Like what does Canelo do better than Demetrius Andrade? Like probably nothing. If you look at both of them, like what does Canelo do better than Demetrius Andrade? Defense? Hell no. Foot movement? Like resounding hell no. Maybe a left to the body, left hook to the body. Canelo has a better left hook to the body. But Demetrius' right hook to the body is not bad. But I'm just trying to give Canelo something. Why would we even think to call Canelo better than Demetrius Andrade? For what reason are we doing that? It's patronizing. This guy, Canelo, Demetrius Andrade. Demetrius Andrade want to fight him since 2013, right? He won't fight him for for nothing in the world, not even for undisputed. But we're gonna still call the guy who don't want to fight better than him. And that's similar with Anthony Joshua. I just ain't gonna mention the other name because when I mention the other name, Anthony Joshua doesn't want to fight. People just lose their damn mind. But he's up there, and we was calling him better than everybody, right? And you know, you got to prove that, baby. You got to prove that, right? All these strategical fights, and I'm not gonna fight him. Oh, I can't fight him in September, but I'm gonna fight Povetkin, right? For way less money, and all those things come back to haunt you, right? And that's what boxing does. And the promoters do this and all of that. But at the end of the day, there's a few boxers out there that want to fight everybody. Those are the ones that's supposed to be on pound for pound list. Do you think a Terrence Crawford has a Demetrius Andrade somewhere running around talking about I could beat you for the last 8-9 years? Does Terrence Crawford have that? Really? No, no. There ain't nobody nowhere where somebody been talking some smack to him. He's going to start getting some smack talk to him soon, maybe from a Boots Ennis, but Boots Ennis is a generational talent, right? Obviously, right? But, you know, up until now, ain't nobody messing with Crawford. They know better. Crawford is the favorite versus everybody, no matter who it is. Right now, he's the favorite versus Spence. He's the favorite versus Pacquiao. He's the favorite versus whoever coming anywhere and anywhere. If he goes up another division, messing with Jamel Charlo, they're going to probably say he's the favorite of that too. You see what I'm saying? That's not the case with Anthony Joshua. So I'm not wishing this on Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua, if he bounces back and handles his business, it'll be great. Me personally, like I said before, when it comes to Alexander Usyk, right, this is somebody who never fights at home, became undisputed, right, and it has tunnel vision, and listen to another thing about Usyk. Usyk's mental is so ridiculous. Like, you can talk to Usyk before a fight, and he'll be like, yeah, whatever y'all talking about. My daughter just went to kindergarten today. I'm more worried than that. And he literally is. You know, so it's relative to him, you know, everything. You know, he's just not losing his mind about nothing. That's important because he's not caring about a side or where we fight and all those things that make people coddled and they character, you know, they get character deficiencies because you've spoiled them. Usyk doesn't have any of those things going on for him. None of it. All of that's games to him. He ain't got nothing. I'll fight you wherever you decide. That's a strong-willed person. I think that Anthony Joshua has an uphill battle here, even though this guy is smaller than him. But if anybody can do something in a rematch, we're going to have to say it might be Anthony Joshua because he can come back and what he did against Ruiz, which some would call running, but I'm not calling that running because running doesn't happen in a boxing ring. But I say that about everybody, you know, because a lot of people of color, as soon as they can move a little bit, people try to call it running so they can just stand still and fight for what you need. A non-athletic fighter that can't move around in a little small ring so they kill the other person who can move, he has a problem. Anthony Joshua had to move to beat Andy Ruiz Jr. because the other thing didn't work. Great performance. Great performance. Why were we going to hate on that? He had to do what he had to do to get them damn titles back. So if he can come in here this time and say, well, you know what? I tried to box Usyk. No, I'm going to push this dude up against the ropes and beat the living daylights out of him. If he does that, that would be awesome too. Let's be real. I don't roll with Anthony Joshua, but let's be real. That would be awesome. Right? Let's see if he can do that. But to do that, you got to beat Alexander Usyk, and that's going to be hard. So let's see if David Haye is right here. If Anthony Joshua loses to Usyk, he says he's going to retire. And unfortunately, I agree with him. Doma Sports Talk, worldwide. And I'm about here, y'all.